Hey guys, VaulSC here. Today we're taking a look at a game of infiNity between PanOceania, that's Vanilla Pano, and JSA, the Japanese sectorial army, now a part of the mercenaries. Alright, so for this one, playing a mission called Unmasking. Some of you guys might not be that familiar with it because it's a newer mission, and it's actually quite a good one. I quite like it. I'll talk you through how it works. So we'll grab our pen. Take for this one today, we'll take. All right, so there are three consoles in the middle of the table, just like in acquisition or something like that, or supplies. Obviously, you got one deployment zone down this side and another deployment zone down this side. For the purpose of this photo, we've got me playing PanOceania here, and the JSA guys over this side. So what you're wanting to do is to move forward and press the buttons at some point, but the idea is that both players deploy not one but three HVTs. So in my case, I've got an HVT over here, and there's another HVT right here, and there's another HVT somewhere around this side of the table. And what my opponent's got to do, because they count as normal HVTs, can't be attacked, is you've got to move through and press the button, pass a whip check, and that console goes over to your side. And that allows you to nominate one of the HVTs that your opponent has set up. So I'll just change colors for a second, say that my opponent might have one here, and another one somewhere over this side. So what I get to do is, let's say I move forward and press this button here, control that one. Then I could say, okay, well, I want to nominate this HVT here, and my opponent has to disclose whether that's the real designated target, and he's predetermined this beforehand, in the same way that you'd write down the location of a hidden deployment model or which hollow echo is the real one. And if I've guessed correctly, I go over and kill that designated target. It turns from a neutral HVT to a actual fighting designated target, and I kill it. Now, if you kill it with your data tracker, you get a whole lot of points. I think 5 points total if you reveal it, and kill it with your data tracker. The other two decoys also matter. So if you reveal the wrong one, it still turns into a designated target that you need to destroy. But at the end of the game, if you've killed more of the decoys than your opponent has killed of your decoys, you get a bonus point. Also, the objectives matter. So if you end the game with more of these objectives controlled over to your side, you get some bonus points. Note that you can't just keep pressing the same button to reveal all three markers. You've actually got to go to each individual console and reveal them all. Now, the wording of the scenario is a bit tricky, but when we talked about it and tried to interpret it, our conclusion was that you can press the button and then nominate a HVT to designate, and then if your opponent presses that button, they take that back. Now, you can't keep pressing that same button to reveal more HVTs, but you can press it again for the purposes of bringing the console back. So, for example, if you go first, press all of the buttons, your opponent goes second, press all of the buttons, it wouldn't really be fair to not be able to take them back, because actually holding the consoles at the end of the game matters. So we decided to play it that if you press them again, you can bring them back to your side, just not reveal any more HVTs if it's the same one you've already pressed in the past. There are no classifieds for this one, and that's really about it. I think there's a couple of other little points in there, but we'll just get into the game at this stage. Okay, so I'm setting up here and borrowing a bulleteer model. This actually is going to represent a Minesweeper mule bot for this game, but I've got the Auxilia with his little helper bot here. This is going to be a Flash Pulse Fugazi. We've got the Walker up here. My hacker over here as well, and my own bulleteer on this side. I've deployed a couple of HVTs already further up the field. They're represented by these red silhouette markers. Towards the middle of my line, we've got a Crocman Forward Observer set up ready to go, prone behind this wall here. So this was the Walker, this is my lieutenant, this is my engineer. So that's the hacker. This guy here is my lieutenant right here. Then there's my bulleteer here, Fugazi. This model back here is a Tech B represented by a Ching HVT. On the left-hand side, we've got my NIS sniper, multi-sniper. We've got the doctor next to him to revive him. He is not prone, everybody else is. Cracker with SMG over here. That's the lieutenant there. We've got another mule bot, not really on the right base size, but we've given him a bigger one. And that's the other Fugazi. And this is the location of my other HVT if I move the camera out of the way. So that's the other third HVT on that side. So, opponent, Ryukin Unit 9 over here, deploying a mine on the staircase to help defend any movement coming up this way, maybe from a Krakot. This is the Kizaragi. Can't remember the name of the biker chick with the scythe. His Japanese link team is hanging out in this building, so we've got the missile launcher here, plus another Kaisotsu here, and there are a couple of Kenpai-Tai on the stairs, as we're about to notice. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people in the link, plus Yojimbo behind the building, and a Domaru Fort Observer elsewhere in the picture. This is a better look at what he had deployed on the stairs. So there's the 2 Kenpai-Tai there. He's got a Raiden and a mine here, behind the Domaru and Yojimbo there. And you can see a couple of his HVTs, one there, and the third one's deployed further towards that side of the table. A better look now at his link team, so you can see the missile launcher in the middle. He's got a paramedic in there somewhere, the Kenpai-Tai with the MSV2 Mark 12 and the Kenpai-Tai boarding shotgun, I believe. And my reserve model is this beautiful new Tony Makiana Tikebilang model with the 2 swords, actually as an HMG. Just recently finished painting this guy up, really happy with how it looks. I haven't painted any basing line of sight markers just yet, as you can tell, but we're going to work on that shortly. Really cool model that I managed to win in the last tournament, so I got this for free. He is going to be the data tracker, so if I can get the tag in to kill his designated target, that's going to be worth a lot. So at the beginning of the game, moving around and getting line of sight to his missile launcher. Now, this is not really one of my favorite parts of infiNity, but it's sometimes necessary when you've got a table where your opponent's got something which really dominates all the fire lanes with an arrow piece. So we have to have a go at it. This is a ballistic skill 15 tag, hitting on 15s. His missile launcher, plus for range, minus for cover, minus for mimetism. 2 dice on 10. So it's 4 dice 15s, 2 dice 10s. We are expecting the tag to win. If he gets hit, I'll have to move the engineer around to revive him and try again. If the tag is completely wiped out by missiles, well, you know, the bulleteer goes in and has a go at it, and if that fails as well, then, you know, that's a 1 in 100 or more than that sort of possibility, but we have to just take it on the chin if it does. Anyway, the tag does destroy the Kaisotsu as expected in this trade-off. As the tag moves around the corner, my opponent decides to declare an engage with Shinobu, who had passed a superior infiltration roll, which I observed. So I knew that somebody was around here somewhere, but didn't really expect it to go for the engage. Now let's talk about the merit of this decision. If Shinobu passes the roll and engages with me, I have to really shoot into combat to remove her, otherwise she's going to attack the tag and easily remove it. Shooting into combat's difficult though, because it's -6 for Tio Camo, -6 for combat bonus, so ideally I'd be moving my bulleteer around, ballistic skill 12, +3 for range, so hitting on a 15, and then -12, so that would be a 3 or less hits Shinobu, so a roll of a 1, 2, or 3 on my 4 dice hits Shinobu, and then a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 would all hit my tag, and then 10s or above miss. So that wouldn't be great for me, but the thing is, the tag can shrug off some hits from the bulleteer with its armor 6, and Shinobu, as soon as it gets hit by even a single shot, is likely to die. If he fails the engage roll, then he's a sitting duck, and this would have been a waste, so that's not great. If he decides not to make this move, well, the tag continues around shooting some of the JSA stuff and is relatively unmolested here. So, by revealing Shinobu, he forces me to deal with her. If the engage fails and I go after her, she may be able to throw a smoke grenade directly at her feet and survive. The NIS multi-sniper is way on the other side, blocked by a lot of total cover line of sight objects, so that's not really going to happen. So, on the weight of balance, I think I probably wouldn't have gone for the engage here with Shinobu, but there is a case for it. There's a bit of an argument for it. But overall, I think it's better to just take the hits from the tag and try and slow him down with the Raiden or whoever you've got on that side of the table, and then bring out Shinobu later to do some real damage when it's her active turn, I reckon. Because the tag's going to end its turn somewhere around here anyway, and then she can move out as a marker and go and wipe him out and get a big points trade out of that. So, because of the positioning here, the Auxilia standing up and firing the combi at Shinobu and the flamethrower hitting at the same time, this is the best way to deal with her. The Auxilia team obviously get to fire 2 different ammo types at once. You've got a flamer, she has to dodge that, but then the combi rifle hitting on, I think, 8s and 3 dice, she's got to dodge those hits as well, and this results in Shinobu being destroyed. Then it's a matter of moving up with my Crocman to the central objective. The plan is to reveal him here, put down some mines maybe here and around here, and press the button. So that's what we're going to do. So Crocman Forward Observer shows up, successfully presses the button with the whip check past, and then lays this white object here, which is a mine, and heads over towards my central HVT. This particular number 5 HVT is the real designated target in the center there, so if he discovers that one, he could get a lot of points out of me. And then putting in another mine. So you can see here, this is the objective that we just captured. This is the HVT, which is the real HVT. Here's the Crocman here. He's placed a mine. You can just see the silhouette of it there, and another mine here. Just preparing for any bikes coming on my side of the table. And then how should we put it? The tag, not happy with his position here, moves over to here just because he doesn't want to get hit by things like the Kaisotsu with the Mark 12 in the link team, possibly with some smoke from Yojimbo helping that out. So just moving the tag out of the way. Not too much more that we can do with this turn. The Krakok going into suppression fire just because we know that there's a K Rider over here about to come around, and the suppression fire from the submachine gun versus the combi rifle will be relatively even. I think the bike will have an advantage, but at least this helps me defend the side of the table a little bit and gives me a chance against her. The tag also hitting up suppression fire, just because there might actually be a marginal case for this working. I've got nothing really else to do. What I should have done, and I forgot to do this because I'm new to this tag, I haven't used it before, is I should have just placed a mine with him. That would have been a much stronger move. There's always a better move than going into suppression fire in the early game. You just have to think of the better choice. So Yojimbo's screaming out near with his impetuous. He's coming towards the side of the table where he's going to go up against the tag. Okay, so his light smoke grenade launcher. So here's Yojimbo here at the bottom of the picture. Fires his light smoke grenade launcher to here. And the plan is to move through and to basically get into close combat with the tag. If the back of his space is there and it's around here, he might be able to stay within the smoke cloud and engage the tag simultaneously. The only problem is that he's going to be going past this mine. And being on a bike, he's not so great at dodging. And being, a deployable equipment explosion, he's going to be at another -3. And if he fails the armor save, the NWI is going to be toast thanks to the shock ammunition for the mine. So it's not great. It's not wonderful. He could use one of his crazy koalas to detonate the mine, though. So we talk about that, and that's the plan. So moving forward here, you can see the location. You've got the HVT, Crocman, and mine on the other side of this billboard. Yojimbo moves in carefully, outer line of sight of the mine first, and then we can do this. We can move in with the crazy koala. The mine goes off in this sky, and that's about it, really, for that order. So seeing that what could happen is that if Yojimbo does now move over here, technically the Crocman gets an ARO and could actually put down another mine just as Yojimbo goes over here. Yojimbo, with this double-action close combat weapon, might not be able to take out the tag in a single attack, because he's got 2 swings on 24. The tag CC-17 might actually roll a decent dice there and beat one of his rolls. We're not expecting the tag to win, really, but the problem is that the tag could quite easily survive one round of combat, and if another mine goes off at the same time, Yojimbo could be in trouble. So putting all that together, solving the problem is going to come around this way instead, and putting a smoke grenade over here. By the way, this is quite a complicated situation, guys, and if you like problem solving and you can see some better solutions for the JSA player here, by all means, post us a comment. But we talked over a few different possibilities. Now, there's an Auxilia, I have to point out, at this location here, and if the smoke grenade doesn't go down, the Auxilia is going to be able to shoot at Yojimbo as he comes past. Also, as Yojimbo comes through the gap here through to the tag, the Auxilia is going to shoot him through there as well. So what my opponent does do is pulls out the Kaisotsu with the Mark 12, and there is a small line of fire through to the Auxilia. So spending an order here from the Kempaitai first to destroy the Auxilia before moving in. So now Yojimbo can come over here, and he's going to be able to move in such a way that he forces the tag to waste his ARO by change face or reset with the first shot skill, and then moves into close combat secondarily. This does result in the flash pulse being able to take effect here and fire at Yojimbo, but Yojimbo decides to take the risk anyway and does survive the flash pulse, and in he goes into close combat. So now we get to start rolling some dice, and he's got a few orders left to make this work. Embarrassingly, the tag being CC17 actually manages to beat Yojimbo in the first round, which we thought was quite funny. I rolled a number somewhere between 10 and 17, and both of his dice rolls were very, very low. So I just managed to scrape the win there, and Yojimbo takes a hit. Now, sadly, despite Tony Makiana's model having two massive swords, the tag doesn't have any kind of dual wield or double action close combat weapon. If he did, Yojimbo would be in serious trouble, but the tag only inflicts a single wound onto Yojimbo, and he goes into NWI. Now, after a couple more orders of just whacking the tag, and the tag passing a lot of armor saves against Yojimbo here, finally Yojimbo gets the tag to unconscious state. But the turn ends before he can coup de grace and remove him, which is a little bit embarrassing. So, having run out of orders here, he spent so many orders moving around Crazy Koala to remove the mine, throwing smoke grenades down using the Kenpai Tai, losing at the tank against the tag initially, just doesn't end up removing him, which is sad. So it's still risky for me though. I have to move the Bulletier around, and the Bulletier has to fire at Yojimbo, and I have to avoid completely removing my tag. He can go into unconscious level 2, so I've got a little bit of leeway. But having to kill Yojimbo here with the Bulletier, and this does in fact happen. The Bulletier blasts the combat with a spread of bullets, and Yojimbo is removed. Having had a look at it, though, I realized that I was in a position where I didn't really need to spend a lot of orders going and reviving the tag, especially since there was a Raiden, or at least a Kenpai covering the line of fire where the engineer would have had to move through. I'll just illustrate this here. The engineer is going to have to move around here towards the tag and then revive him. Once he gets to this particular spot, the Kenpai is going to be shooting at him there. So I think the better play this turn is just to leave the tag there. I can revive him later and just go and do some work with the Bulletier or the Crocman. So Crocman now moving over to the other objective. He goes into camo marker first, then comes around to the objective, and we're using him to fire at the Kenpai Tai. Now, this was a mistake because I temporarily forgot the fact that Kenpai Tai had MSV2, so that was a stupid mistake by me. He reveals a ninja and fires a combi rifle back at me at the same time the Kenpai Tai reveals, so it's a bit of a shootout here. But at this point in the game, I get very, very lucky. It's 12s to hit on 3 dice with the Crocman, 12s to hit on 2 dice with the Kenpai Tai, but the Crocman wins. And the ninja fluffs his shot, doesn't manage to get anything done at all. So the Crocman, very lucky to succeed there. Bulletier now moving back around the side. There's a Fusilier hacker right there to help him out. So the hacking program assisted fire goes down, and we can now move out with the Bulletier through to the middle section of the table. So 6-4 speed screaming along here, and we get to a point where I can shoot the ninja. He can reveal with his Raiden if he wants to, and he decides to just to make life harder for me. So here comes the Raiden, but the problem is it's a Bulletier. It's got ODD. It's got assisted fire. So the Bulletier spreading some shots out and just wrecking this Raiden altogether, and then following up and shooting at the ninja as well, eventually gunning down the ninja also. And the Crocman able to press a button to decide to designate this particular target, moving through and blowing that up as well. Finally, moving the NIS sniper in the other group up onto top of this container here, where it can see a lot of the table that it couldn't before, just along this important line and around here, just because my opponent's really running out of things that can shoot at it. So the sniper should be in a much more effective position. Even though he's got no cover up there, it's important to just make life miserable for your opponent at this point. Prevent them from moving out, getting into better positions, pressing buttons, because you've got such a lead, such a big lead. You want to maintain that. So the Cat Rider over here, Impetuous, coming over here, and the Bulletier has to dodge, and the Flamethrower goes into the Bulletier and completely wipes it out. Elsewhere, the Ryukin trying to get some shots off onto the NIS, but not really the best unit to do that. The NIS sniper blaps him with the multi-sniper and destroys him. The bike also having a go at it, running up through here with its combi rifle, but the NIS sniper outshoots the bike as well, sadly, which was a bit of a real slap in the face, an insult to injury, really, with the game going as badly as it had gone for JSA at this point. And we decided to call it, even though we'd only really played through 2 turns, because JSA has just fallen apart here. There's nothing else that can attack, and there are Pano troops all over the place with arrows to spare. So looking back through this game, I did get very, very lucky. In the second part of it. Um, I think that my opponent really. I don't know whether you want to leave the missile launcher covering that much line of fire, or maybe it's better to use them with the reserve model or what. But it's not a bad idea to leave the missile launcher out there, especially if you've got a doctor. That's when I'd approve of that. But I think it's better to have a Tokusetsu, a doctor there to revive him, knowing that it's likely he's going to get shot, right? With Yojimbo, I think that Yojimbo's play was fine. I think that getting him in there to kill a tag, it was more than likely to actually have removed the tag, and Yojimbo should have had enough orders to get away. It's just that he got a little bit unlucky not killing the tag. Having said that, CC-17 on the tag, armor 6, with only a double action close combat weapon, it's going to take some time to kill him, and you are risking a little bit. I think the main mistake really was Shinobu, though. Let's say Shinobu had not revealed. I mean, it only takes me a couple of orders to kill her, right? Let's say she had not revealed. The tag had gone on to kill maybe one or two other troopers and then pulled back. Because it's very likely I would have pulled back. Shinobu just deletes him, right? Easily deletes him. If the tag had moved too close to enemy lines, well, he had a ninja there which could have moved out and done the same thing. So killing the tag wouldn't have been too hard. Then he can move forward with other troopers, not so much Yojimbo, but other things that can move and attack, maybe the Damaru or the Biker Chick or whatever. I still feel that when you're building a JSA list, you should be taking some stuff that actually does some decent damage at the 16 to 32 range. If it's not the Kaisotsu HMG or just the pure TR bot with assisted fire, even the Rushi's really, really powerful. So I think that that's the one weakness of JSA, the guns at that particular range span, and you could somewhat mitigate that by taking those three things that I mentioned, and life might have been easier for our JSA friend had that been the case. But either way, this has been Unmasking. It was a good game, and we'll come back with some Born Bat reps pretty soon.